Hi everybody, Dave from Song here, and today we're going to talk about rhythm. So we were talking a little bit about music reading. Half of the reading is figuring out what notes to play on your instrument, and then the other half is knowing when to play those notes, right? Because just like when you're singing a song or something, you got to remember the words, but you got to remember how to sing it, and you got to know when to sing, right? So rhythm is this part of music that tells you basically when to play the notes. So the base unit, I would say, for this would be the whole note. Whole note in a 4/4 bar is worth 4 beats. So you'll see one big ball with no stem. It's just a blob on the staff. That's our whole note, and it's worth 4 beats. So whenever you're thinking about rhythm, you have to kind of have a pulse in mind, or you can use your heartbeat, or you can use a clock on the wall. If you have a ticking clock, keeps time perfectly. And if you play your whole note, then you're going to want to hold it for 4 beats. So in this case, if I am tapping my foot, 1, 2, 3, 4. Holding the A for 4 beats. So let's see another kind of note. So we've got half notes as well. Half notes we hold for 2 beats. So if you're tapping at the same speed, then each beat or each half note would get 2 beats instead of 4. So it would be 2 half notes worth half as much. Then we keep going, do that in half again, and we get to a quarter note. Now quarter notes are happening at the same time as the beat. So we get 1 quarter note, 1 beat. At the same speed, it would be. So now we have to get even faster. Now if you can play your quarter notes on the beat, and then you can play that twice as fast, that's how we get to play our 1/8 notes. Now with 1/8 notes, you get to play 2 of them for every beat. So if this is our beat still, 1, 2, 3, 4. So there are twice as many notes as there are beats now. Another thing that you're going to come across in music, right, because it's not all sound all the time, is something called a rest. You'll see a quarter rest sometimes. In a 4/4 bar, you could have a quarter note, then a quarter rest, another quarter note, and then another quarter rest. So in that rest, instead of playing a note, you just stop. You sort of do what it says. You just rest. It's a very short rest. So when we play that, it would sound like this. So here's our beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. We get A, rest, rest. So we get a quarter note, and then 1 beat of silence, and then another quarter note, another beat of silence. Now we have other kinds of rest as well. There's the half rest, which you'll remember half note is worth 2 beats, so a half rest is worth two beats as well, but just of silence. So if we had a quarter note at the beginning of the bar, and then a half rest, and then another quarter note, it would sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3. So we get 2 beats of silence in the middle. Now, one thing that's kind of tricky is when we get to 1/8 notes and 1/8 rests, sometimes, it's a very short space to kind of measure so quickly, right? It goes by. And sometimes you'll have the rest on the beat and the note not on the beat. So when we're playing 1/8 notes, straight 1/8 notes, it's. But now imagine if you only had to play every other 1/8 note. Then we could play. Those are the 1/8 notes on the beat. Now if the 1/8 notes are off the beat, you have to listen for the beat and then play right after like this. So it would be 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you kind of hear the beat and then the note comes right after. 1, note, 2, note, 3, note, 4, note. And that's, basically the way we kind of measure our rhythm is usually with quarter notes, but sometimes you could count even faster. So if that's our beat, that's counting in quarter notes. you could think of it in eighth notes twice as fast. So it would be... So if we were counting in eighth notes, all of a sudden a whole note would be worth 8 instead of 4. So let's just try that for a second. So we'll go back to the whole note, and we're going to hold it for the same amount of time, but we're going to think about eighth notes instead of quarter notes. So it's going to sound like the beat is a lot faster. So let's try that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then if you were going to do quarter notes, each quarter note would be worth 2 eighth notes. So we would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And sort of all of these ratios and fractions and things that you can kind of think about as your music. It's kind of, the little Lego blocks that are building up the different times and lengths of notes that make a piece of music. So I hope that was helpful, and have a great weekend. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and click that bell to turn the notifications on.